Should safety be a top concern of Black women who are looking to move abroad? We're going to talk about it today. This is a follow-up conversation to my other video about our Black women safe abroad. Hey girl, hey, welcome to my channel. This is where we motivate, uplift, and inspire Black women who want to move abroad. If you are not already a member, make sure you subscribe. Okay, if this sounds like you, hit that subscribe button or that subscribe bell. Make sure you also share, like, and comment on this video. Let's talk about it. Last week, my video about our Black women safe abroad drew a lot of views and reactions and just comment. Y'all, I was so in my feelings about a lot of it because there are some questions that I think that are coming up, okay, as a result of we're seeing a number of Black American women who were unalived in the Gambia, and also a Black UK woman. And this video in no way is, number one, it's not blaming the victims. Number two, we are in no way saying that the continent of Africa is unsafe for Black American women. But we are asking for Black women who want to move abroad, no matter what country that is, are the socioeconomics of the country that you're planning to move to, is that going to be a part of your considerations? One of the things that was a little bit kind of got me into my feelings was reading the comment sections of these videos, not just mine, but videos on YouTube about these women and their unfortunate, them being unalived. And first, let me say this, rest in peace to those women. I don't think any of us moves out of the country thinking that this could be a possibility. Now, for those of you who follow this channel, you know that I moved to Paris, France from the US in 2023, the age of 48. And if these women were like myself and probably most other Black women who are moving abroad, you are looking at it like you're moving from the US with the crime rates, with the gun culture, all of those things. And you're moving to a new continent, a new country, a new place outside of the US. And all those things, you know, you are focused on your expat journey. You are focused on building your new home, building a new community somewhere else. The thought of being unalived, honestly, doesn't cross most of our minds. And the fact that these women are the suspects in some of these women's unfortunate endings are either their associates or allegedly their associates or their partners is even more disturbing. We know that Black women, okay, we're coming in, whatever, we are the most educated, we're the most in terms of economic power, the most degreed, the most business having. The statistics are there. I don't have to repeat them. We know that Black women as a whole are coming, wherever we are going, baby, it's going to be an improvement. I think that our collective trauma, our collective experiences, we know that in the US, we're dealing with a 400+ year head start by the global minority. And by the global minority, I mean clear people, okay? We know that collectively we're dealing with that. And so in many cases, we look out of it, that racial lens, right? But the fact of the matter remains that when you go into other countries, you are moving into a whole different socioeconomic class, okay? As Americans traveling, as Americans immigrating, as Americans traveling, there can be a lot of hate on Americans because of the fact that we tend to have disposable income. That's not limited to Black women. Black women we're going into, we're going to the continent, we're going to Africa, we're going to all these beautiful and fabulous countries. And so we're bringing that USD with us, whether it is a lifetime of savings, whether it is pensions and investments, whatever it may be, okay, whether it's business income, we are going into it trying to live our best lives, but we're seeing that socioeconomically, it is a consideration. And so reading the comment section, one comment stood out to me, and it was like, in some cases, when Black American women move to some countries and some continents, it is like Oprah moving to a trailer park. That really kind of sat with me for a bit, because I know that even in my experiences here in France, the average person, it is estimated that almost nearly 90% of people in the Parisian region, or in France, I need to check and see which one it is, but basically, let's just say in France, make under $4K a month. That's about $48,000 a year. 90% of people make less than 4K a month. That is amazing when you consider it. Again, we can only look at it out of our USD lens. And so a friend of mine told me that puts me in an entirely different socioeconomic class as a Black woman in tech, and knowing kind of what I make annually. That puts me into a much higher socioeconomic class. So I might be in America scraping and struggling, and not saying that's the case, but I might live a comfortable life in America. But in terms of in another country, that USD income puts you at the higher end of the socioeconomic scale. And so I think that's one of the things that we're dealing with. Are these things a part of your considerations when you're moving to other countries? Are you looking at where are you? Does it affect how you move? Does it affect how you move? Where you, what your plans are? In some cases, these women, the thing that is so gut wrenching, and it's like a gut punch, is that these women left major U.S. areas. They left, one woman was from New York, I believe. Another, the East Coast area at least. Another woman was, I think, from Cleveland. And so what we're seeing, again, I'm being very careful because these are still, their deaths are still being investigated. Suspects have been held in some cases. But what we're seeing is Black women moving to the continent, and they were building homes. They were getting themselves established. But what I'm seeing in the comment section is that, like, some people are like, oh, we can't trust anybody. Is that life for Black women? Like, is that normal? Should that be expected, that we go to other countries, other continents, and us not trusting anybody? Is that even realistic? Are Black women, I heard someone say that Black women should go to these countries and should not date. Is that realistic? If I am a eligible single Black woman and I want to date, is that realistic for me to go to a country and not date? Is it expected that I go to these other countries perhaps and only date above or within my socioeconomic class? What does that mean for Black women? What does all this mean for Black women? Do we have to move differently with the same ways? Look, Black women are resilient. Okay, we are resilient. We are going to figure out a way. Our 400 years in this country have taught us that, again, most money earning, most degree having, most business having, we're going to bring those same skills to anywhere where we land. Okay, anywhere where we decide to move. We know we are foreigners in these beautiful countries and continents. We know that. And we know also that you've got to trust somebody to an extent. And that was one of the things that made this whole thing so disturbing to me. These were women who were going about building their lives. They wanted to focus, in the community. They wanted to build new homes, have businesses. They were just looking to do the average Black girl, Black women things that we all do. But in another country, they were targeted. Are Black women targeted for our financial success? And in some cases, I'm wondering if that answer really is yes, because in terms of our incomes, looking at what we're bringing to the table, we already know that immigration is nothing more than a money game. And in some of these countries, you are labeled before you even leave the plane. They know you coming, okay? And we're coming with USD. We're coming to build comfortable lives. It takes money. It takes income to do that. Are we being too trusting? It's a fact that as an expat, you have to trust somebody. I hate to break it to you, but you do have to trust somebody in some cases. So are Black women who are moving to certain countries, are we basically trading one thing for the other? Are we really saying that Black women who move abroad, if you're moving to some countries, and again, this is not, limited to just Africa, to the continent of Africa, this is no matter where you are, because it is a matter of fact, if you're moving to like Italy, if you're moving to France, if you're moving most places around the world, India, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, but literally we are making the income. We have the money, okay? We got them 401ks, we got all of that. But it brings up to mind how I know in places like Jamaica, for example, again, this is just an example, we're seeing that Jamaican Americans who have worked for years, for decades, and have retired comfortably from the U.S., they want to go to Jamaica and build their dream home and retire there with their families. We're seeing, in some cases, them being unalived, okay? We're seeing that. So are we being targeted for the financial things that we bring to the table? How does that impact us moving abroad, especially as single Black women? Because what I'm hearing folks say is that Black women who are coming to some places in the continent of Africa, that we should not date, we should not move there if we are single, or if we don't already have a partner. It is disturbing to me, because our lives will never be like the global minority, okay? But we just have so many different concerns. The same things are not expected out of the global minority. Karen does not have to worry about this, but we do. What are the expectations that we are putting on ourselves? Because when I see these videos, I see these women, wanting to build community, wanting to have businesses of their own, building homes of their own. They're doing the same things we would do back in America, but in a different place. Do we have to dim our light to go to these different places? Black women just want to be happy and peaceful. I feel like, we just want to live the soft life, and there's nothing wrong with that. We have a 400 plus year history in the U.S. of having nothing but the soft life. So I'm not faulting anybody who wants to get their piece of that soft life, okay? They want that rest and relaxation. They want to have that in another place, in another country, that's not America. And this is, again, in no way blaming the victim at all. I hope these deaths will be investigated to the fullest extent. I hope that they will be prosecuted for those who are found and convicted of committing the crime. But I think that we have to ask ourselves these questions. Their murders are not being investigated to the level that I think they should be, in terms of they're not the mainstream media coverage, I should say. Okay, I'm seeing these only talked about on YouTube and on TikTok. It has not made mainstream media that I'm aware as of me doing this video. Now, if that has changed, please let me know. But so far, I'm not seeing mainstream news coverage of it. And we know that had this happened to Karen's, again, the global minority, it would be all over CNN, NBC. All the alphabet law enforcement agencies would be involved. This would be an international story, okay? This would be an international story. So I don't want to trivialize their deaths. I don't want to paint it all with a broad brush. I do think, however, that the questions have to be asked for Black women coming in with our USD, coming in with our buying power, right? Coming in with that to other places where we may stand out more economically. We're in a different socioeconomic class, okay? We're seeing people in terms of, with some of the women who were murdered, allegedly, they were either associates who knew them, or they were their romantic partners. And what we're seeing in terms of a couple of those women, one woman it was very disturbing to watch, because she was literally filming videos saying that she felt she was being watched. She felt she was being targeted. She would no longer eat street food. She was preparing her own food. She felt that the construction workers who were building her home were monitoring her. And so it, again, brings to question, Are we being targeted for our economic successes as Black women in these other countries? Is there jealousy? Are folks jealous of what we're bringing to the table? In another case, one woman, again, no health problems, but she allegedly died of heart problems. It is alleged that perhaps she was poisoned, and it is alleged that perhaps her partner may have contributed to that, because this person allegedly now has access to her home. So what are Black women's lives valued? What is the value of our lives in other countries when we go to other countries? And it's particularly, just, again, a gut punch, because the same reasons that I moved, these women probably moved also. And there's also these expectations, especially when you're moving to the continent of Africa. Okay, let's just keep it real. So there's this expectation of building community. There's this expectation of you're going back, the motherland, you're going back to that. You're going back to where, our ancestors came from. Yes, Black Americans have our own distinct, unique culture and identity. We know that, from music, from food to language. We know that we have a unique and distinct and separate culture. We know that as Black Americans. But there's this added thing of, I'm going to Africa. Are we romanticizing it? Are we romanticizing not just Africa, but anywhere we're going? Because there are other countries that are definitely on the list of places where, girl, I don't know. Have you thought about your safety? Have you thought about your safety in some places in Colombia? Have you thought about your safety in some places like Jamaica? Have you thought about your safety in places like Belize, Honduras, Mexico? This is not in no way limited to just the continent of Africa, because safety is going to be a concern. Even in America, it's a concern of ours. Have you seen the Black femicide rates? Have you seen the rates of intimate partner violence in America between Black Americans? It is a question that we have to ask ourselves no matter where we decide to lay our head. Is it safe for me here? My concern is that, these women were going about to try to get their peace in another country. They were looking at, again, building the community, contributing to the community. And for them to meet their demise this way is particularly disturbing. So it's one of the reasons why I'm going to keep talking about them. Okay, this has not garnered the mainstream media attention that I think it should, but it doesn't mean that we cannot continue to talk about it here. If you know of more information that I don't know, please leave it in the comments below. If you've heard of mainstream news coverage of this, please leave it in the comments below. Send a link to it. I'll definitely review it. These are developing stories, okay? These are developing stories. I am committed to talking about this, though, because I think these questions need to be asked. We have to ask ourselves, are Black women safe moving abroad? Is our financial success an impediment when we're moving to other countries? Are we being a victim of, are we being targeted? Are we being scammed? Whether it's a romantic interest, love scams, whether it's the people you're moving around, your neighbors, your community. Are we targets? Does our financial success in our new countries make us a target? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've reached the end of this video, thank you for watching. If you are not already subscribed, please make sure that you do. Hit the subscribe button. Also, one of the best ways to help me as a Black woman YouTube creator is for you to send this channel to other Black women who are or who want to become solo travelers, or who are or who want to become or who want to live abroad. Send them this channel, and that's one of the best ways to help me as a Black woman YouTube creator. I will catch you all on the next video. Don't forget, leave me some comments below. Let me know what you're thinking about this topic. Again, if you know of any updates to these cases, please leave them in the comments below. Let me know what you're feeling. Have you felt the pressure as a Black woman moving abroad? Do you move differently? Does your economic picture make you move differently? Are we targets? Does our financial success look different when we're moving to other countries? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until the next video, I will talk to you later.